So welcome to our Life Wheel webinar tonight. This is one of our part of one of our coaching modules. And so we wanted to share it tonight with anyone, first of all, for your own value and benefit, and then to give information to those that might be still wondering about the coaching process. So we're continuing to endeavor to give you value, plus we're wanting to give you insight to what we do in our coaching training. So welcome. Thank you for being on with us tonight, and I trust that it will be beneficial to you. So as we look tonight at the experience of coaching and coach training, we're going to look at what it means to be a coach. Okay. Why coaching is so popular today and why it's becoming to the forefront in almost every industry. It's interesting, when I first started getting certification as a coach and then training coaches, and we're getting close to 200 coaches now in our Life Impact Transformational Coaching Tribe, for which we're very grateful and exciting to see the growth and development of each one of our coaches and how they're using it in various areas of their life. Coaching has been around for a long time. Of course, most people, when you talk about a coach, they're thinking about an athletic coach, maybe a voice coach, maybe an acting coach. Even the CEOs in the past have had access to coaching, high performance coaching. Athletes have personal high performance coaches. So there's all kinds of coaching been around for a long time, but it started becoming mainstream back in the early to mid 90s because of the breakdown in what we have known as the nuclear family in the past, and because so many people today are experiencing the challenges of life at a level that they haven't experienced before, and without a lot of the support that has been available to people in the past. As we said, with the traditional family, many times people were mentored or coached, two different things, by family members. And now we have such a fragmented society, and I don't say that in a negative sense, it's just the way that things are. People don't always have the connection that they've had. So coaching has become very popular because it fills a need that some of the other disciplines have tried to fill, but was not always as applicable. For example, people have gone to counselors, therapists, psychologists for many, many years because that was all that was available to them. And research shows that probably about 80% of the people that go to a therapist, a counselor, or a psychologist or psychiatrist could benefit from a coach. They're not dealing with maladaptive behavior or mental illness as much as they are just needing help with life in general. So life coaching becoming very, very popular. Even on TV now, the TV shows, the sitcoms, even some of the drama talks about having a life coach. Now, so I'll tell you that some of the references to life coaching is not life coaching. That's something that everybody needs to understand. Just because somebody calls themselves a life coach doesn't mean that they have the skills, the principles, and best practices that are taught in life coaching. So it is becoming very mainstream. I work with clients throughout the week from all walks of life, different people. Some of it's about marriage, some of it's about wanting a relationship, some of it's about jobs, some of it's about profession, some of it's about different things. Some of it's about people's walk with God, their faith walk. They're needing coached in that. And so coaching is, as I said, is becoming very mainstream, and more coaches are needed in our culture. And sometimes people ask me, well, aren't we going to get too many coaches? No, we're not. First of all, a coach can't coach all that many people, and people need people that are close to them, or people they know, people they have confidence in. So no, we're not going to reach a saturation point on coaches. I can assure you of that. And so it is becoming very popular. The difference in coaching and counseling. Coaching looks forward. Counseling, therapy tends to look backwards. Traditional therapy focuses on a problem, while coaching focuses on solutions. And so we are goal-oriented, not problem-oriented. And that's a huge, huge difference. One of the things that we've come to understand and know is when people get focused on their future and on their goals, a lot of the problems of the past go away. Now, we don't diminish those problems. We don't discount them. We don't diminish what's happened to people. We don't just shove it aside. We just know that the more you focus on what's wrong, the more powerful what's wrong becomes. So getting people focused on where they want to go. One of the first questions that I ask people when they call me up and to see if they want to work with me, I simply ask them, what do you want to accomplish? Where do you want to go? What's your dream? What's your biggest dream that you have? And it catches them a little off guard because they're expecting me to talk more about what's wrong than they are about where they want to go. So it immediately creates a mind shift for people in how they're seeing their life and what they're working on. So coaching works, number one, because there is an accountability factor. But even more than being an accountability partner, you are the person in their life as a coach that believes in them when they don't even believe in themselves. You stand in their future when all they can see is their past. You help them with solutions when all they can see is problems. So you're helping them discover what is inside of them. And that's the art of coaching. The art and science of coaching is that as coaches, we believe the answer is in the client. And when people discover their own answers, they are much more likely to follow through. They're much more likely to sustain the work that they're doing rather than falling back into old patterns. One of the things that we do in coaching, we talk a lot about this in coaching. We don't talk a lot about it with our clients, but we're literally rewiring people's brains. That's what the Bible's talking about in Romans chapter 12, verse 2. It says, be transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is the good, acceptable, and perfect will of God. To put that in coaching terms and neuroscience terms, be transformed by the rewiring of your brain. And the rewiring of the brain takes place when we change our mind. One of the phrases in neuroscience is change your mind and change your brain. So powerful stuff that we do, far more powerful than what people initially think that it is. So One of the tools that we use in transformational coaching, life impact transformational coaching, one of the tools that we use is the life wheel. Now, in our training, we take all of our people that go through life coach training with life impact, they have to go through what we call our impact shift process. That's where you start becoming a better leader of yourself. So one of the tools that we use in that is the life wheel. Get my slide to change. The life wheel helps define success and what each individual's idea of success is. The life wheel a lot of times helps people get focused. So, and a lot of times people will say, well, you know, I'm so confused. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know what I want. And the life wheel helps us with that. So it not only helps us to look at areas where we might set goals, it also helps us to define what success is. One of the things that we teach our coaches is when people say they want to be a success, we ask them to define that. Because if we don't know what the client's definition of success is, we're going to impose our own definition on the client, and we call that hijacking the client. So it's never about what our definition of success is, it's what other people or the client's definition of success is. And the life wheel helps us to get there. Now, our life wheel at Life Impact, these are the different categories that we have identified. Sometimes with different people for different situations, we may change up these categories. The life wheel been around for a long, long time. In fact, if you Google it, you'll find out that it was used back in the Renaissance days. And so there's no patent on this, there's no, and you can change these up. But for our purpose, here's what we ask people to do. We ask them to look at these different areas, their environment, their physical environment, their home, their office, wherever they're wanting to focus. And the career, their money, their health, friends and family, marriage and romance, personal growth and learning, leisure, fun, and recreation. So what we ask people to do, and you probably had an opportunity to do the life wheel if you're on this call, we ask them to identify the middle being 0 and the outer circumference of the circle to be a 10. So on a scale of 0 to 10, how satisfied are you with any given one of these areas of your life? Now, not where you want to go, but where you are right now. So we ask them to fill that in. And we give people a little bit of time to do this in our live seminars. And they will fill these in. Now, it's rarely, I've never seen one yet, where everybody was in balance and everybody was at a 10. That would be highly unusual. But as people start looking at these different areas of their life, they start having different experiences. Now, here's one that this might be a hypothetical one. It might be one that somebody did. I'm not sure. It doesn't matter. But in this person's physical environment, their home, their office, they feel pretty good about that. They're probably here at about a 7 or an 8 on the scale of 0 to 10. So they're feeling pretty good about their physical environment, their home, their office, probably very organized, neat, everything the way that they want it. On the career, they look like they might be at about a 50%. So their career is not as developed as their physical environment is. Money, again, on this one, looks like it might be at about a maybe 60%, about a 5 to 6 level. So this person, I don't know what their age is, but wherever they are, that's how they're feeling about their money. But then look at the health column. The health falls off maybe to 40 to 50%, just guessing at where those numbers are falling. So they're going to want to possibly look at some goals in regards to their health. Family and friends, feeling pretty good about that. Looks like they're at about a 6 or a 7 on family and friends. But then in marriage and romance, it falls back off down into about the 40% range. And then personal growth and learning, maybe at about a 50% range. And leisure, fun, and recreation, maybe at a 5 or a 6 level. So people fill these out, and we have all kinds of different configurations that we get from people, but we call this a life wheel. So here's the challenge that we give to people. If you were able to take off all the white that's in this, the area of white, the circumference, and this was the wheel on your car, what kind of ride would you have? Well, most people would agree it would be a bumpy ride. And this is the way a lot of people are living their life. A lot of things are being compromised in favor of other things. So this is where we really start talking about the life wheel and what their life experience is as they're moving forward and experiencing life, and how bumpy that their ride might be. Now, this is used for clarity, not to beat ourselves up. If you've been around Life Impact any length of time at all, you know that we talk a lot about if judgment, guilt, shame, and punishment was helpful to us, we'd all be very successful. Whatever our definition of success would be, we'd all be highly educated. We'd all be very healthy. We'd all have plenty of money. Everything would be wonderful. But beating ourselves up is never helps us reach a sustainable goal. It might help us for a moment, might help us for a day or two, but it never helps us to develop a sustainable goal. So we're not using this for judgment, we're using it for clarity, to see where that we want to go. So when we're using the life wheel in coaching people, we help them set what we call value-based goals. Value-based goals are goals that are based on your life wheel. In other words, if we go back, let me back up here just a little bit. Let me get back to the graph. Here we go. So if we were looking at this person and we were asking them, what goals would you like to set? Well, obviously in this person, they could choose between, maybe they would want to choose health, maybe they'd want to think about career, or maybe they'd want to think about marriage and romance. Those are the three lesser things on their wheel. So if they chose a goal that fit in those areas of the life wheel, we call those value-based goals, because the value of the goal is to help them reach a greater level of balance in their lives. Now, sometimes we get people whose career goals are at an 8 or a 9 or a 10, but their family and friends is at a 3 or a 4, because they've compromised the relationship with family and friends in favor of their career. And they're not feeling very good about that. So they want to set a value-based goal that focuses more on family and friends. So when we look at a value-based goal, now this is important. When people look at setting goals, we teach our coaches to ask them what the global impact of that goal is going to be. Now, the life wheel is what we mean by the global impact. How is that goal going to affect these areas of your life? How's it going to affect your physical environment? How's it going to affect your leisure? How's it going to affect your personal growth, marriage, romance, family, friends, health, money, career? So we want them to keep in focus how the goal is going to impact them globally. Now, people don't often think about that. They want to become the CEO of their own company. They want to start their own company. They want to climb the corporate ladder. And none of those are bad goals. We just want them to be aware of how that goal is going to impact their lives and where they're willing, if need be, where they're willing to compromise. And that becomes an important thing, because if you're not aware of it, it's going to happen. And then you wake up one day and say, wow, I reached my career goal, but I lost my personal leisure and fun and recreation. I lost my health, or I lost my family. So we want them to know that the goal not only is important, but how it impacts their world becomes extremely important. So this is how the life wheel becomes a very important tool in life coaching and what we call in life impact transformational coaching. So we want them to recognize where they're working, and we want people to have value-based goals. Now, let's go back to where we were, to having clarity. This is one of the things that people run into all the time. In fact, I had a conversation with somebody today that we were trying to decide if their need met my processes, but the person could not give me clarity of where they wanted to go. They told me what they didn't want, and that's what people do a lot. They tell you what they don't want, but they are not clear on what they do want. There's a quote from, I don't know if any of your sports fans, Yogi Berra. He's known for his baseball, but he's also known for his esoterical quotes. One of Yogi's quotes was, "If you come to a fork in the road, take it." But another one of his quotes is, "If you don't know where you're going, when you get there, you'll be lost." So we want people to have clarity to where they want to go, what they're wanting to accomplish. Now, you'd be amazed at the number of people that I talk to on a regular basis when I ask them that question, when they're deciding if they want to work with me and I'm deciding if I'm a good fit for them, I'll ask them, what are you wanting to accomplish? Well, I don't want to keep doing this, and I don't want to keep doing this, and I don't want to keep doing that. No, I didn't ask you what you wanted to quit doing. I asked you, what do you want your life to look like? What do you want it to look like 6 months from now, a year from now? Paint me a picture. Show me where you want to go. And sometimes people can get clarity, but sometimes if I have them do the life wheel, that helps them to get clarity as to what they're wanting and where they want to go. So getting clarity. Clarity creates momentum. Now, this is something that all of you can take away from this webinar tonight. The more clarity that you have of what you want to accomplish, the more likely you are and the more momentum that you'll have moving toward it. Most people are stuck because they don't have clarity, even their language. They don't have clear language. Well, I kind of want to do this, and I kind of want to do that, and if I can, I'd like to do this, and if everything works out, I'd like to do that. That is ambiguous language. There's a great verse in the Bible. I don't remember its location at the moment. I'd have to look it up. But a great verse in the Bible that says, let your yes be yes and your no be no. Now, that's not just talking about yes and no. It's talking about clarity. Have clarity in your speech. Now, I don't want to get too far off in the weeds here, but when we use language like, I'm going to try, or I kind of want to do this, or if I can, we're actually confusing our subconscious mind. Our subconscious mind doesn't know where we want to go. We're confusing our conscious mind. So in other words, we're not giving good clarity. And we're not even helping the Holy Spirit know where we want to go. Now, one of the statements that I get from people all the time, and most of the people that I work with are Christians, faith-based, and I ask them, well, what do you want? Well, I just want to do what God wants. Well, what does God want? Well, I don't know. Well, if we don't know, how are we going to know the path to get there? Well, I just want to please him. So I remind them that God said he would give us the desires of our heart. Now, I read this somewhere, and I don't remember where I read it, but the word desire, the basic meaning of the word desire is to give birth to. God said he would give birth, the desire of our heart would have birth. So one of the ways that we know God's purpose for our life is the desires of our heart. That passion, that yearning inside of us. And when we get clarity on that, get it focused like a laser, the more powerful it's going to become, and the more likely not only are we going to have the desire, but then it is sustainable. I'm working on a lesson now that I'm going to do the next time I speak at CFTN, and I don't know when that'll be, but the thing that's percolating in my spirit is how to sustain your miracle. It's one thing to have a miracle, it's another thing to sustain it, to keep living in it. You can have a miracle in your finances, But if you don't know how to sustain that miracle, you'll be right back to wherever you were. You can have a miracle in your health, but if you don't know how to sustain it, you'll fall back into the old patterns and behaviors. So this is something that's very critical and important, that we know how to sustain the goal that we reach. And the journey is part of the sustainability. So I'll get off of that. That's for later. I'm getting away. The life wheel helps us define our self-sabotaging behaviors. Now, how does it do that? When we look at our life wheel and we see that we're not reaching the balance or the goal that we want, then, and we look at things that we have been doing, we start seeing patterns where we're self-sabotaging ourselves. Now, there's some very powerful reasons that people self-sabotage. The self-sabotaging comes from our beliefs that maybe one time were beneficial to us, but today they're not. I'll give you an example. We all teach our children this, stranger danger. We want our kids to be safe. So we teach them not to talk to strangers. Don't take candy from a stranger. Don't talk to strangers. Don't get in the car with a stranger. Don't go anywhere with a stranger. Well, that is a powerful thing to teach our children to help them stay safe. So children develop the belief that strangers are dangerous. Now, when we become adults, somebody forgot to tell us it's okay now to talk to strangers. So one of the things that we know is that people have a lot of anxiety talking to strangers. Now, if you're in the sales industry, you're going to have a difficult time if you still believe that talking to strangers is a bad thing. If you're trying to find somebody in a relationship and you think strangers are dangerous, you're going to have a hard time breaking through that. So an old belief system sabotages a lot of things that you're trying to do in your adult life. Let me tell you one I had to overcome in my Christian walk, the way that I was trained when I grew up, that if you were a success, you were compromising. That was a huge thing that was driven into me as a young teenager, young adult, that people that were successful, people that were rich, people that were successful in ministry, whatever, that they were compromising. Now, so a lot of times I would reach a certain level of success and then I would sabotage it, unconsciously sabotage it because of an old belief system. So the life wheel helps us to find those areas where we are self-sabotaging ourselves, and helps us to identify it and then to do something about it. Okay. When we use the life wheel in coaching, it keeps clients focused on their goals rather than staying stuck in their past. Now, here's something that's very important that you can use as a takeaway from the webinar tonight. When people are fearful of their future, they will always return to their past. It's just the way that we are wired. Our brain is more interested in the road or path most familiar. So the brain will always want to return to what is familiar. So if we're uncomfortable about our future, and this is what a coach does. A coach stands in the client's future when the client can't see the future themselves. So the coach stays in the future, even when the client's trying to return to the past. We help them by reminding them and helping them to know that we believe in their goal. And you can't coach somebody if you don't believe in their goal. But we believe in their goal, and we stand in that goal and help them when they can't see it for themselves. So the reason a lot of people are staying stuck in their past is because they're fearful of the unknown in their future. So they will always look to the past. Okay, I've been going on here now for quite a while. I'm gonna see if we have any questions. You can either unmute yourself and ask a question verbally, or you can send it in on the chat button that's there on your screen. Any questions or comments? Okay, anybody found this helpful? All right, thank you, Lori. Appreciate that confirmation. All right, so Lourdes is going to come on and talk about what is next for us. So, and I'll watch for questions and come back to them if there's any after Lourdes gets through. So Lourdes, go ahead.
Hi, everyone. So what's next is, first, I wanted to share who I am. I'm Lourdes. I've been with Life Impact for about 7 years. I've been a coach since we first started training for coaches, and it used to be like a 6-month program. And I when I was became part of the program, honestly, I didn't even know what a coach was. I didn't know if I really wanted to be a coach or entrepreneur. I just knew that when I went to a DISC training, that I connected with what was being spoken to me about coaching. And at the time, I felt really stuck. I was working at a hospital as a case manager assistant, and I was doing youth ministry, and I was like so burnt out. And I felt like I was going in this like cycle. Like, I'm like, oh my gosh, this cycle, I keep on just going around. I can't get out. And I like literally, I'm praying, I'm fasting, I'm doing all these things. And I'm like, and then I go to this seminar and I hear Doc speak, and I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah, what are you doing? What are you training? I don't even know. I want to learn. And it has totally transformed my life, and I've been able to use it. I love the thing about coaching and learning the tools is that you can use it not only like in an entrepreneur business type, but I've been able to use it when I continued to work at the hospital as an employee. I was able to use it with patients. I've been able to use it with the youth. I've been able to use it with my family and friends and conversations in regards to better understand and keep connection with people. So that's why I love it so much, because every step of the way, I know that I have tools to empower and speak life into people. And that's my passion and my fuel, is to empower and speak life to people. Our next, so I just want to go into that, just a little background about myself. And our next transformational coaching is actually October 24th. And that's Thursday. And it's going to start at 7:30. And this is going to be our last training for this year. And it's going to be the last training that's going to look the way we have it now, where it's 16 weeks of live Zoom sessions. We're going to be changing it up a little bit. We'll speak about that more in 2020. But right now, what we have to offer you is We have a 15% discount for those that are interested and want to pay in full. And then for those that are interested and want to start a payment plan, we have a 10% discount. We will be emailing the replay along with package information and the prices and everything for you, so you can look and decide. And all you have to do is reply and let us know if you want to pay in full or if you want to do the 10% discount. We also will be offering just additional information when you can have a 30-minute session in the next couple of days with one of us. If you have questions, you can call the office or you can email us if you want to know more about coaching as well.
Thank you. Thank you, Lourdes. Lourdes has done an awesome job as a coach, as well as working in the administration of Life Impact. And it's exciting to see what has happened in her. Let me tell you, we have coaches in all walks of life with Life Impact. Some people take coaching to become a professional coach and start their own business. And we actually teach you how to do that. We do more than teach you how to do it. We give you the tools to do it, to equip you. We go beyond what is normally called life coaching. That's why we call it Life Impact Transformational Coaching, because we actually give you tools for your own workshops, your seminars. We have an ongoing training program for those that want to go into a particular area of coaching, a particular niche. For instance, we have a niche of marriage coaching, relationship coaching. We have a niche called Living from Your Core. That is for helping people that are just at rock bottom. And this is a process that I wrote and we're making available to our coaches. It's a great premium package, but it literally takes people that are at zero, bottom of life, and help them to get to intentional living. And we've taken a number of clients through this process, and it's very, very powerful. I have another one for people that want to work with people in the church world that are struggling with their faith. And it's really designed to help people get out of religious bondage and to thriving in their faith. And then we have other niches as well. We have what we call advanced coaching after the initial coaching. The advanced coaching gets into the neuroscience of change. And we go very deep into this part of it. What excites me about the neuroscience of change, it's really the Bible revealed in this area. And it's very powerful. So we have the ongoing training, and then what we do with our Life Impact coaches, you become a part of our Life Impact tribe. So you're part of a community. And we have events throughout the year, people coming together. And Lord has made reference to we're going to be changing up a lot of our the way we're delivering our processes starting in 2020. And you'll be hearing more about that. But we're going to be going to more online kind of courses for a number of reasons. But it's going to be very, very good. We're spending these last months of this year to set up the new delivery system for 2020. And we're very excited about it. We think it's going to enhance what we're doing, but it won't have quite as much personal contact as the training that we're offering to you starting October the 24th. But we have coaches, as I said, across the board, people that are developing their own business of being a professional coach. Some people are using it in their ministry. Some people are using it in their agencies. We've trained a number of people that work in nonprofit organizations, people from reentry, people reentering the culture after being incarcerated, to people coming off the streets, to adoption agencies, working with foster children, as well as parents that are adopting. So we have a broad spectrum of experience in training coaches. Some people take it just for their own personal growth and development, and it impacts their family dynamics. And I've had a number of people tell me, if just how this changed my family dynamics was worth every penny I paid, whether I ever do this professionally or not. But we do train you how to be a professional coach. We train you how to develop your coaching process, and we train you how to market it. So no other coaching process that I'm aware of trains you in all of those areas. Those are separate, but we give you enough information in the Transformational Coach Certification process to start your own business. And then we give you some support in helping you walk that out. So we're very committed to our coaches. Here's how I feel about this. The Life Impact coaches are my legacy. In fact, I just did a class for the School of Ministry. In fact, just a few minutes ago before I got on here with you guys. And it was for the leadership of the School of Ministry. And many of them have come through our life coach certification, but some haven't. And several of them wrote me and sharing notes of appreciation that they gave us tonight. And here's what one of the people said to me in their note. They said, first of all, they said, we thank you for who you are. We thank you for the training, the teaching that you've done. And then they said, but we also thank you for those that you have trained and how they have poured into our life. So it really made me feel good. The accolades that they gave me made me feel good, but to know how that the people that have been through life impact training has impacted their lives. That is my legacy. I'm still feeling good, still feeling healthy. Had a birthday yesterday. Didn't even know I was a year older. But the truth is, I'm kind of on the other side of the hill here, and I'm not going to be able to do this forever. But we've got people trained, developed, working, that's impacting people's lives because of the training that they receive from the Life Impact Transformational Coach. If God is speaking to your heart at all, if you feel inclined, give God an opportunity to fill the desire of your heart and jump in and take this course. Now, as the Lord has said, you're going to get this recording, and you're going to get the packages. We don't ask you to sign up tonight. We don't put that kind of pressure on you. We want this to be something that you are committing to, not from an emotional or a hype or a sales presentation. We want it to be coming from your heart, knowing this is what God wants for you, and that you're ready and willing to make the financial investment, and then we make that investment into you as well. So thank you for being on the call tonight and being a part of Life Impact. And those of you that already are, those of you that are thinking about it, we just want to encourage you to listen to God's voice. And if God's speaking to you to do this, then jump in and give God a yes, and He'll bless you for it. So thank you for being on the call, and hope to talk to you soon. Good night, and God bless.